Hi, welcome to our preview party. I'm Julie Brasso. I'm your promotions coordinator. I'm going to be one of your hosts for the trip. And this is Lynette Morgan from The Morning Show. She's going to tell you a little bit about some of our past trips and what we're going to be doing on this one. And we're just excited you're here, so thanks for coming.
Yay, okay. So, we've done some praise trips before. This will be number 5 for us. We've gone to Israel 3 times, Greece, and now we're continuing in the footsteps of Paul by going to Rome, and Florence and Assisi going to Italy. So very, very, very excited for this one. When we were first approached to do a praise trip 4 years ago, back in 2012. So, like 4 years ago, it took a long time to plan. We were thinking, really? Would anybody want to travel with us? And immediately the Israel trips filled right up. So that was fun. It was like, okay, so where should we go next? It was like, okay, Greece, let's continue in the footsteps of Paul. And then naturally, Rome is next. So have any of you been to Rome? Okay, no. Italy at all? No, okay, and neither have I. Now, my husband is Italian, and his whole family is Italian, and he has not been back for 30 years, so he's very excited to go along, and my mother-in-law will be coming too, so they'll get a little history here and find out all about the architecture. Of course, my mother-in-law's been there. She's from there. Yes. But I'm excited to kind of know and see. I've never been there before either, so we'll all be going together and learning together and seeing the architecture that I've only seen in pictures and movies, and we'll be there. And where Paul was at, and of course the food. The food. I mean, amazing. Right. So Julia's here. She's going to take us through. We'll do the whole itinerary, give you the cost breakdown, and I believe this is probably the least expensive or one of the least expensive trips we've ever gone on. Yeah. So I will hand it over to you, Julie, and she will let you know what's going on.
Great. Okay. Thanks. So first, you guys got to know the answers to these exciting trivia questions, because this is always fun to do. Okay, so question number 1, what's the time difference between Pacific time and Central European time? Are they 12 hours ahead, 7 hours ahead, 9 hours ahead, or 4 hours ahead? What do you guys think? Raise your hand for 12. Not 12. What about 7? Not 7. It's 9. 9 hours ahead of where we are right now. So it's not, the time difference isn't horrible. It's not like they're a full day ahead or 20 hours or anything like that. It shouldn't be too terrible on us with the jet lag. So true or false questions. Espresso originated in Italy. True or false?
True.
True? Yes, you are correct. Good job. The monetary unit in Italy is the d'oro.
False.
You guys are good. It is false. The monetary unit is the euro. Yeah? I made that one up, so I thought that was pretty funny.
Yes,
I know, right? So in Italian restaurants, you should always tip generously, or it could be seen as an insult.
False.
You guys know your stuff. That is false. We'll talk about that more later. We're going to have a slide about tipping and kind of etiquette in Italy and overseas. So as we go along tonight, when I come to an Italian word, I'm going to ask you guys to help me learn to speak Italian. So I'll say it and you can say it back and just kind of have fun as we go. So a couple little English to Italian phrases here. So ciao means?
See you soon.
It actually is hello or goodbye. It's like aloha.
I had it in hello and goodbye.
Yeah,
too.
so ciao is a greeting, and it's also when someone's leaving. You say ciao.
I can't follow these lines.
So arrivederci means see you soon. Yeah. So Firenze,
Florence.
Florence. This one's kind of easy. Signore, Sir, Mister. Grazia. Thank you. Prego does not mean spaghetti sauce.
Okay, never mind.
Nice try. It means please. No, prego means you're welcome. Per favore, please. And mi scusi. Excuse me. So you got to say that one. Mi scusi. So fun. Okay, so we'll get into the presentation. Feel free to stop me as I go along, but we will have a question and answer at the end. One thing I did want to share too, our travel partner is Indus Travels. We've done all 4 trips that we've done in the past with them, the travel company. They're located up in Richmond, Canada. Our contact there is Tardis, and she is an absolute great help to us. So any questions you have tonight that Lynette or I can't answer, we'll definitely follow up with her and make sure we get you answers to any of your questions. I think we should be able to tackle most of them unless it's something really out of the ordinary. But she's the person that you would be in contact with to do any kind of your payment arrangements and things like that. So, is my clicker working? There we go. Okay. So why travel to Italy? Some of the things that Lynette already kind of touched on, that there's just so much culture and history of the early Christian church, the early Roman Empire, obviously landmarks, great food. We're going to see lots of amazing sights, and it's going to be really spiritually impactful. We're going to be traveling with lots of other fellow believers. We're going to be going to see places that we've heard about in the Bible, go to places where Paul was. We'll actually get to see where Paul is buried. We get to go to St. Peter's Basilica. That's actually where St. Peter is buried. He was martyred in the courtyard there at that location. So there's a lot of history of the Christian church there and things that we'll be learning about along the way. So why should Christians travel to Italy? I kind of stole my old thunder here. But basically just that. We're going to gain new understanding of the Bible and the scriptures, seeing these places firsthand, really feeling that culture and embracing that. Getting to see like the catacombs where a lot of the early Christians were laid to rest. It's, there's just a lot of impactful things we're going to be seeing and doing. So why travel with us? Why come with Praise? Why not do it all on your own? I think for me, the biggest thing is that we've done all the homework for you. We've got the tour all planned out. We've got the major sites that you want to see. You don't have to wake up in the morning and go, oh, should we go to the Vatican today? Oh no, I hear it's really busy. Because we have a full-time tour manager that's going to take us around to all the sites, explain what we're seeing. They know the right times to go, the wrong times to go. So they're going to take us to all those great places. We get these whisper headsets. So like when we're just kind of tootling around on the bus, we're going from place to place. We'll be hearing more about the history as we go. You get to just soak it all in because we've done the work for you. And I think, like Lynette said at the beginning, the tour is priced very reasonably, especially for what you're going to get. So as we get into the tour, you're going to hear a little bit more of what's all included. And it's the only tour you get to go on with Lynette from the morning show. Right? So the basics. So we're going to leave on April the 15th from Vancouver, BC, so Vancouver International Airport. We'll fly overnight. We arrive in Rome, actually after a short stopover in Paris. We get to Rome in the afternoon, around 1 o'clock or so. Once we're there, we're on the ground. We're in a chartered motor coach. So we have a full-time tour driver and our full-time tour manager that will take us to all the great sites. And we stick together as a herd, so that makes it good too. The return trip, we actually leave out of Florence, short stopover in Paris, and then back to Vancouver. So the tour includes, you get 8 nights in 4-star hotels. So we'll have a slide for each one of these hotels, but it's 4 nights in Rome, 2 nights in Assisi. So that's an Italian word, so you got to say it. Assisi. There you go. 2 nights in Florence. The cost is based on a twin sharing basis. If you're, a husband and wife traveling together, we would put you in a double room, a double bed. For singles traveling alone, if you want your own room, that's your option. If you're willing to pair up with somebody else and be paired with a roommate, that's a less expensive way to go. So we can always try to match you up with another gal or guy that says, I want to go, but I don't have a traveling buddy. We can help you out with that. So you get daily breakfast in all the hotels, 5 dinners in local restaurants, all your airport transfers, include your round-trip airfare, all the entrance fees to like the Vatican and all the basilicas and places we're going to be visiting. So that's all included. There's no extras once you get there. Oh yeah, by the way, $75 to go to the... Nope, none of that. It's all included. Unless during your free time you choose to do, obviously, something else. I think I covered all that. 5 dinners? Yep. So hotels. So I see another Italian word. In Rome, it's going to be at the Best Western Hotel Universo. Universo. Good job. Okay. So 4 nights we're going to be staying here. It's centrally located in the downtown area. I do want to say, too, with the with all the hotels, if you go to our website, just praise106.com/Italy, there's a link there for the hotels. You can actually link to those hotel websites, and Google is so awesome. It will translate it from Italian to English for you. So you can go there and you can read all about the amenities and everything that they have there. You can look at all their beautiful photos. I just thought it was so cool to go there, and it's in Italian, and you hit translate, and it just whoosh, all English for you. Very cool. So free Wi-Fi in the hotel. Again, we get American-style breakfast buffet there daily. 2 restaurants on site for the nights that we don't have dinner included. You can choose to eat at the hotel, or if you want to wander around town and go find a little hole in the wall, that's totally at your leisure. But just know that there's a couple on site. And then kind of all the extra things that you'd expect a hotel to have. In Assisi, we're going to be staying at the Razio Hotel Assisi. It's going to say Razio.
Razio.
Good job. Which means, what do you think that means? Razio. What does it look like? What's the first part look like? Rose. Good job. You guys are awesome. So 2 nights in Assisi. This one is really beautiful. You'll see another picture in a later slide. It's set on the top of this hill that overlooks this valley. So you just have amazing views from the hotel itself. There's a pool and hot tub here, so you want to make sure you pack a swimsuit. So after a long day of sightseeing, you can slip into that hot tub and relax. Got 2 restaurants here too, breakfast every day as well. Everything that we're going to need. Click. Florence, we're going to be in the hotel, and I think it's Ambasciatore. You guys want to try that one? Ambasciatore, which sounds like ambassador. It actually means the Ambassador Hotel. This one's really cool if you go check it out online. Florence is very traditional, medieval, everything's like ancient city and ancient streets, and the hotel we're staying is kind of the flip side of that. Inside the hotel, it's ultra modern, everything's sleek and chrome and really kind of chic and up to date. So it's I think it'll be a lot of fun. 2 nights here. It's got an elevator. I'm just kidding. I thought that was funny that was one of the things they pointed out. It's got an elevator. Wi-Fi, again, we've got breakfast every day there, pretty much all the amenities. So again, if you have any questions about the hotels, the website is a really good resource to go check it out. You can click through, there's links right to the hotel websites. You can check it all out. Lots of fun pictures. And I keep getting off my thing. So like Lynette said, meals and food, one of my favorite things. I'm very excited about this. Love authentic cuisine. So we kind of hit on this already, but again, daily breakfast at all our hotels. There's 5 dinners that are included in the tour price that will go as a group. So it'll be at local restaurants. Again, the tour manager is going to take us to some really awesome spots. If you have any special dietary needs, over in Europe, it's a lot like it is here. If you need gluten-free or if you're a vegetarian, they're going to be very accommodating. That's not going to be much of a problem at all. Just tell our tour manager if you have like extreme dietary needs, or if it's just a preference, then you can just tell your server. For the other 3 dinners, those are totally on your own, and that's by design to give you the freedom, like I said, to go to a place you and a new friend that you met on the tour, you want to go together. You saw this place when we were on the tour. I want to go to dinner there later. So you have 3 nights that you can kind of do that on your own to give you that flexibility. Lunches are on your own as well, and snacks. Costs for a few of those, we're talking about euros here. $1 US is about 90 cents for euro, so it's pretty close when you're talking about prices. So a snack is anywhere from $5 to $15, light meal $15 to $20, fancier restaurant you're going to be paying, $25 to $50 a plate, depending on how fancy you want to go. So that's really your choice. Street prices for water, soda, about $2 or €2, so pretty reasonable. Italian cuisine. So Italian is more than just spaghetti. The Italians, they really focus on fresh ingredients that's local, and it's the love and care that they put into the dishes. So it's not a lot of fancy ingredients. It's just fresh ingredients prepared in the right way, with love and care. So some of these things on the screen here are, examples of what you're going to see. Bolognese sauce is the meat sauce that's cooked on the stove all day till the meat falls apart. Prosciutto. Cassiofi are fresh artichokes that they have in the spring, which happens to be the time of year we're going to be there. I've looked up online. There's some dishes that have like deep fried artichokes and then lamb slices that they serve together with this fancy dipping sauce. Are you hungry yet? Risotto, gnocchi, pestos. So we're going to eat well on the trip. I don't think that's going to be any problem there. Lots of fun things to try. This is really cool. When I read about this, I was like, wow, I definitely want to try that. So it's aperitivo hour. It's kind of like happy hour in Italy, but it's like happy hour plus. So if you go to one of these places, it's typically a bar, a small cafe. They have these aperitivo hours. They usually advertise them out on the streets, 5 to 8 p.m. if you buy a drink. Then you have access to these free snacks. And the snacks can be salami and cheese. Sometimes they can be pasta and even small, like it's almost like a free meal. And the more you drink, the more you eat. It's kind of how it works out. But etiquette tip, like I have up there on the screen, you don't want to be that American. So if you're having a small plate of food, kind of like one small plate of food for every beverage that you're having. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Fun way to try lots of local foods. So itinerary, I'm going to grab some water. So we're going to start at Rome, which is kind of on the southern end here. We're going to make our way up to Assisi and the central area. This is the Tuscan region, or Tuscany. You've probably heard about that. That's kind of where we're going to see a lot of the rolling, beautiful scenery and more of the countryside of Italy. And then northernmost point is Florence, so that's where we'll depart out of. So as we're talking about the itinerary and I'm telling you about all this great stuff that we're going to see and do on the tour, keep in the back of your mind that this is your trip. If there's something on the itinerary you're like, that's not really my piece of cake, come on in, just join us. You always have the flexibility to say, I don't want to go see that museum. I'd rather sleep in. I'd rather lay by the pool. That's your option to do for sure. One thing with that is that on the itinerary, the motor coach is probably going to depart and come back to the hotels only certain times of the day. So if there's certain parts of the itinerary that you don't want to participate in, that's your option, but you just want to make sure that you're going to be able to connect with the rest of the group when it's time to go to the next spot. And some of these things that we're talking about, the timing of them will be flexible. Some of the dates might flex a bit, or some of the things that we see on certain days will flex. So you know, don't mark it down and say, you said on Tuesday we were going to see this. We'll get it all in there. Maybe not necessarily in this exact order, but it's kind of a shell of what we're going to do. So we already talked about we're going to leave Vancouver on the 15th. We're going to get meals and services in flight. That's all included. We get to Rome in the afternoon of the 16th, which is a Saturday. So day 2 is really day 1 on your trip after your first day of travel. So we're going to get into Rome. They're going to take us through kind of a whirlwind panoramic tour of the city and then take us to the hotel, give us a chance to rest, kind of get rid of that, jet laggy, I've been on a plane overnight feeling. And then we're going to have a kickoff welcome group dinner that night in Rome. Day 3 is Sunday, and this is going to be our tour of ancient Rome, where we're doing a lot of the ruins and some of the really old architecture in the ancient parts of Rome. As you can see, there are all the main places we're going to go see: the Roman Forum, Palatine Hill, the Colosseum is going to be amazing. There's lots of things around the Colosseum that we'll be seeing too, so we're not just like there hitting that point and then leaving. We're going to be kind of exploring and doing lots of things while we're there. The Spanish Steps. The Trevi Fountain is this picture up here up above, and we are so blessed to go at the time we're going. It just reopened. It's been closed for 2 years, well, like 18 months, and they just reopened it like last week. So it's very cool. So we're going to get to see it live, and it's going to be functioning. It's not going to have scaffolding all over it. The Pantheon, we'll do dinner in a local restaurant together that night, and then another night in Rome. Go for it.
Being that it's a Sunday, is there any services or anything that we might see, any kind of?
Yeah, one of the things that we're going to be developing that we don't have ready yet is we'll be doing daily devotionals together. We've done that on our other trips. I don't know exactly right now if we're going to have a particular service for us all to go to, but I think we'll for sure have some private devotional time that day and maybe a group devotional time. It's a great question, though. We'll look into that.
You do get one mass.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we get a couple that are later in the week, but not on Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah. And originally, the way the itinerary fell, the Vatican visit was going to be on Sunday, and we were like, well, nope, the Vatican's closed on Sunday, so we've adjusted it to where we're doing the Vatican museums and visits on Monday instead of on Sunday. Yeah. So here we are. Monday is the tour of the Vatican City. Typically, if the Pope is there and in town, he does a weekly audience or a blessing. So if his schedule is that he's there when we're there, we'll get to go attend that, which is very cool. We'll obviously be touring all the Vatican museums, the Sistine Chapel. We talked a little bit about St. Peter's Basilica. That's, by most people's standards, considered the largest church in the world. We get the afternoon off and then dinner on your own. So you can explore Rome for the rest of that day. Day 5, we're back in Rome again. This is a day where we have a mass that we'll be attending. We get to see the holy stairs. Those are rumored to be the same stairs that Jesus climbed when he went up to meet Pilate and he was sentenced. They actually removed those stairs and relocated them to Rome, and so that's where they are today. We're going to go see St. Paul outside the walls. That's a huge basilica built to honor St. Paul, and that's the burial place where he is too. And it's huge. If you look at the blueprints of it online, it's all this stuff we're talking about. It's on paper it sounds like it's this small and we're going to go in and we're going to see it and we're going to leave, and it's just giant, grandiose, huge. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Catacombs of San Sebastiano. There's 4 or 5 different catacombs in Rome that you can visit. From what I understand, they're all kind of about the same. So if you've kind of seen one, you've seen them all, but I think this is going to be a great one. It's located, I believe it's fairly close to St. Paul outside the walls, if I remember correctly. So this is another night where we have the evening to ourselves, to roam in Rome, or have dinner on our own. And then the next morning we are off to the Tuscan region. So we're going to travel to Assisi, which is the home of St. Francis. So on our way there, we're going to stop in Cascia and Norcia, is how you say the names of those 2 towns. There's a couple of different basilicas and monasteries we're going to visit there along the way. So our day of travel, I believe it's about a 2-hour trip from Rome to there, maybe 3 hours. But that travel time is going to be broken up because kind of midway there, we'll stop, get off the bus, tour these few places, have some time to take pictures and take it in, and then we'll head on north to Assisi. So once we arrive in Assisi, there's a kind of a short tour of the city, getting settled in the hotel, and then we're going to have a dinner together the first night in Assisi. So day 7, okay, this is kind of fun. Remember what I said about that hotel where we're going to be staying? That's our hotel, up on that hill, overlooking the valley. So there is an early morning English Mass that we'll be attending that day at the Lower Basilica of St. Francis. And then after the Mass is over, we'll be exploring the 2 different levels, and then the crypt. We'll be visiting the Basilica of St. Clare, and then you kind of have the rest of the afternoon and dinner together. All these details are hard to keep track, so I got to keep looking at my notes. So Siena and Florence. Did I miss? I feel like I'm missing a day in Assisi. Overnight in Assisi, overnight in Assisi. Okay. Day 8 is when we'll head north to Florence. On the way there, we'll stop in Siena, which, as it says, is Tuscany's most cherished medieval city. This big tower in the middle is called the Torre del Mangia. It's a famous tower there. In the city center is sometimes where they have the big bull markets, and they'll have the city center all full of bulls. I don't know if they'll be doing that when we're there. I'm not sure what time of year they do that. A couple of basilicas we'll see there, and then continue on to Florence. Day 9 is our last day on the trip, so we'll be exploring Florence. Looking at this beautiful Santa Maria del Fiore, that's with the big Duomo, the big dome there. That's one of the big major sites in Florence. We're going to get to see Michelangelo's David, which is amazing. And then you have kind of some time that afternoon to explore, shop for souvenirs, have dinner together as kind of a farewell kickoff. This has been great. It's been wonderful to have everybody. We're going to overnight and then leave the next morning is pretty much how it works. So Sunday is when we'll depart. We leave Florence. We have a little stopover in Paris. Again, meals and services in flight, and then we'll get back to Vancouver around 1:30 Pacific time that afternoon. And that is the itinerary. So we're going to talk a little bit about traveling to Italy and kind of what to expect when you're there. We talked at the beginning, we had a little quiz at the beginning, money and that sort of thing. So passports, you have to have a U.S. passport to get there, or Canadian. It cannot expire less than 6 months after your trip, so you got to make sure your expiration dates are good. You don't need a visa unless you plan to stay more than 90 days. And you don't need any special shots. So Europe is pretty easy going as far as those things go. Healthcare, if you have any health issues, just make sure you talk to your doctor ahead of time. Let them know that you're going to be traveling. Make sure if there's any prescription medications, you can bring those with you. But there's pharmacies pretty much like there is here. A lot of places, they have normal kind of grocery store hours. So it's not difficult to get a prescription filled if you have it with you over there. In Europe, you don't dial 911, you dial 112. It's kind of good to know before you go. Italy, we've kind of talked about this all along, that, Italy's past, there's so much richness and culture there. There's a lot of key historical figures that have come from Italy. We're going to be seeing a lot of these works by Galileo, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, all these beautiful Renaissance masterpieces. And the people in Italy are very welcoming. They're very warm. They like to laugh and tell jokes. They're very funny. They tend to be a little more stylish. I think we're going to talk about that later. But overall, it's just going to be a very warm, fun environment. Currency, we talked a little bit about. The monetary unit is the euro. Again, it's about 89 cents to the US dollar, or the other way around actually. Our dollar is worth about 89 cents of a euro. ATMs and credit cards. ATMs are pretty much like they are here. If you use your US ATM, you can get Euro cash right out of an ATM. That's actually one of the things we recommend when you're traveling. Just maybe bring, 100 or 150 kind of traveling money with you, and then it's better to change your currency once you're in country, because you're going to get a better exchange rate than if you buy the currency here and bring it with you. Credit cards are pretty much widely accepted just about anywhere, like they are here, except for in the Vatican City. They have a ban on credit cards, so you have to just use cash. And then personal security, pickpocketing can be a problem in especially the really dense tourist areas like in Rome where we're going to be. So we recommend you get, like a travel belt that you can slide your money into, or for ladies, a side bag that hugs your waist so you can keep it close to you. TARDIS likes to say, don't bring anything for the day with you unless you're willing to part with it, which I think is a little extreme. But, the hotels we're going to be staying, they have the little safes in the room, so you can leave most of your cash back in the room. You don't need to bring your passport with you when we're just going out during the day. You could leave that locked up back in the room. So there's ways that you can kind of travel light for the day. Electricity and phones. Electrical outlets are this funky European plug. For the most part, if it's on a wall down low. Most hotels now have converted, though, to like an American style plug by the vanity. So for your razor or your curling iron or whatever, you'll be able to use that. You can just plug your cell phone charger into that. So not a bad idea to have one of those plug converters, but probably not essential like it used to be. Payphones are all over the place. You can buy prepaid calling cards at a lot of different places. For your cell phone, make sure you check with your carrier before you go. You want to have an international plan. You don't want to get dinged with those roaming charges. Bad. Internet, Rome has citywide Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi hotspots pretty much anywhere you go. And if you're in public areas in Rome, and all the hotels we're staying, there's free Wi-Fi. So get back to the hotel at the end of the day. You can upload all your cool pictures to Instagram and Facebook, and email your sister that didn't go and say, "Ha, you should have went with me." But you tell them first, because then they'll go with you, and it's a lot more fun. Weather and clothing. We're going in the spring, which is pretty mild. It's a lot like Washington State. So it's kind of like weather we had back in September. You can have days where it's warm and kind of 70s, and then you can have days where it's kind of cool and like 50s sweater weather. So you want to dress in layers. You want to bring, a light jacket or a raincoat layer. Ladies can do scarves. Italy, they're kind of dressier people. They tend to dress up more. If you're wearing raggedy khaki shorts, you're going to be like, oh yeah, American tourist. You're going to stick out a little bit. So we recommend, it's totally up to you. You can dress however you want, but number one is being comfortable. Number two is you probably do want to dress up a little bit, business casual type of attire, but you definitely want to have comfortable shoes, because we're going to do a lot of walking, climbing stairs, walking up hills, seeing lots of cool stuff. So you don't want to be in heels or shoes that don't have good arch support. And bring your bathing suit for those hot tubs at the hotel. Tipping and etiquette. We talked about this before. I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. In Italy, most of the time when you go to a restaurant, the service is included. Servizio incluso. And it'll say that on either your ticket, or it'll say it on the menu. If it doesn't say that, sometimes it'll be a line item on your ticket. And if it's not included at all, tipping a couple euro, $1 or $2 is probably fine. You don't want to do more than 10%, because they're kind of see it as an insult. Because the wait staff at restaurants over there, they're treated very well. They get basically tipped out bonuses from the owners. They're paid well. So you don't want to be, kind of culturally ignorant by leaving a big, $20 tip. It's not necessary. For drivers and guides, like our tour guide, certainly you don't need to tip them every day. If you feel like they've done an awesome job, it's great to tip them kind of at the end of the tour. These are some suggested guidelines, a couple euro to €10 a day, kind of, whatever you think. And it's totally, again, at your discretion, but these are kind of the norms, what to expect when you're there. Okay, we're nearing the end. Travel insurance. So we're going to talk about this before we talk about the payment. We highly recommend travel insurance. Once you have paid in full for this tour, it is non-refundable. It's pretty standard with tours like this. That shouldn't be a surprise. You can buy travel insurance through Indus Travels, the travel company that's doing our tour, or you can buy it through a private insurance company. That's your choice. You can also check with your credit card company. Some of them offer travel insurance, but you want to make sure it has two things. It's trip cancellation and trip interruption. Cancellation is if before we go on the trip, something happens and you just can't go, that would cover and refund you the money of the tour. Interruption is once we're there, something happens, you have to leave home in a hurry, you miss the rest part of your tour, and then you have to pay really expensive airplane fees to get you back to the States. So those are the two types of coverage you really want to make sure that you have if you're buying your own insurance. The next slide here tells you all the benefits you get with the insurance package that's sold as part of the tour. So again, we have trip cancellation, the full cost of the tour would be refunded. Trip interruption, you would actually get 150% of the trip cost back, and that's to cover, additional airplane fees and things like that. It also covers medical emergencies or accidents when you're overseas, things like baggage delay if your bags don't show up and you have to go buy toothpaste and soap and whatever else you need till they find your bags. It covers things like that, misconnections, all that kind of good stuff. So costs. So we talked about this at the beginning, but the tour is very reasonably priced for what it is. The U.S. cost is $33.50 per person. Again, that's based on a sharing basis of you sharing a room with another person. If you're a single person traveling alone and you don't want a roommate, or we can't find you a roommate, there would be an additional charge, that single person supplement, and I believe, yeah, it's $675 for US. In order to register, you need to put down a $500 deposit that holds your place. It is non-refundable once you put your deposit down, but that guarantees your spot on the tour. And then the final payment would be due in January on the 15th. So that's 90 days before we depart. So all it takes is $500 to save your spot, and you can pay the rest later. That's kind of how it works. That insurance waiver we talked about is $365 per person. So it's roughly 10% of the cost of the tour to guarantee that if something happens and you can't go, you're not out all that money, the full $3,000.